Hello, 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 and welcome to my kitchen. My name is Beverly Lucas, and I am the host of For the Love of Cooking Fridays. What do I do on Fridays? I try to show you how to make a meal, a dish, a dessert that is always better than the restaurant. It is always better than the restaurant. So I am in the kitchen today doing what it is that I love to do because it is my joy. It is my passion. It is my pleasure to bring forth these videos to you to show you that if I can do it, you can certainly do it too. So what are we making today in Beverly's Kitchen? Today we're making one of those really homemade meals, and it's simply just spaghetti and meatballs. So I've made spaghetti and meatballs countless number of times. I've used frozen meatballs, I've used meat sauce, I've used no sauce, but today we are going to make meatballs that are not your traditional meatballs. So these are a variation of Bobby Flay's meatballs. And let me show you what makes them different as I introduce my ingredients to you. So I have some ground beef. This is a 80-20. This is about 3/4 of a pound of this ground beef, which is typically what people use when making meatballs. But I also have about a little more than 1/4 of a pound of some ground turkey. So I've made this with sausage, but I've never used ground turkey, so we're gonna try that today. For our meatballs, we have 2 slices of white bread. We have some onion. This is about 1/2 of an onion that I didn't dice or I didn't cut, but I grated it. I'm a teacher, so I grated it on the grater. That sounds so funny. Okay, we have some garlic, some minced garlic, and we have some eggs. Our eggs are going to act as a binder, and what the binder does is as the meatball cooks, it's going to keep the meatballs together, and it's actually going to bind them together, bind all the ingredients together. What I'm so excited about is I have some herbs that I'm going to be using. These are all from my garden. I'm so proud of my little herb garden. I always am every season. We have some fresh basil. We have some oregano. We have some lemon thyme, which is really good because it has a very unique taste to it. It tastes like thyme, but you can also taste the undertones of the lemon. And we have some fresh parsley. Of course, we have our spaghetti right here. One ingredient that I did not show you is we're going to do this now. We're going to soak our breadcrumbs. You can use milk, but I'm using heavy cream, and the breadcrumbs help to make the meatballs light so that they're not thick and dense. For the sauce, I'm using jarred sauce today, and this is Bertolli, I believe that's how you pronounce it, sauce. And in that, I'm going to just put some mushrooms because I love mushrooms, and some tomatoes for presentation. These are also from my garden. Also, what I have, this is very important. This is herbs of Provence. I know it's a fancier way to say it, but what all that means is that it's all these dried herbs in this little bottle. And here we have oregano, thyme, rosemary, basil, and tarragon. So we are going to be using this on the meat, and then I also like to put a little bit in the sauce. It gives the jarred sauce a deeper flavor, Also for the meatballs, we're gonna put in a little Worcestershire sauce, or however you wanna pronounce it. So I have my water boiling here for my spaghetti. And to that, I have added salt. I say this all the time, but I always remind you that if you are using, if you're cooking pasta, you wanna make sure you salt the water. The water should taste like the sea. We're not gonna fry the meatballs, but we're going to bake them. So I have prepared here a baking pan along with some parchment paper, and I have my little measuring cup, which I'm gonna measure things out to make sure that all the meatballs are the same. So let me go ahead and start my oven on 350. My water is boiling, so let's get it started. Are you with me? Are you really with me? Come on, take this journey with me. All right, let's get this party started. First, I'm going to take my beef and And I'm going to put it into a bowl. And I'm going to take my ground chicken and I'm going to put it into a bowl. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to salt my meat first before I add all the other ingredients. And I am also going to put in some pepper because I want to make sure the meat is seasoned. And I'm going to take my Italian seasonings and I'm going to put about a teaspoon in there, like that. Next, I'm going to take my bread, which has been soaking, and I'm just going to put that right in. I have my grated onions. I think I'm only going to use about half of this. And it's grated so that it dissolves, so that when you're biting into the meatballs, you're not biting into bits and pieces of onion. I'm going to do about a teaspoon of garlic. We have 2 eggs. I'm going to crack them one by one to make sure that each one, as my home ec teacher would say, is good. Because if you crack it into the mixture and the egg is no good, it can ruin your entire dish. Okay. And actually, I want to use my hand because I do not want to overmix it. Okay, I have mixed my ingredients and it still is a little too loose for me. So I'm thinking maybe I could have just used 1 egg. So what I did was I got some Italian breadcrumbs, which I usually use. And this is about 1/3 of a cup. And I'm just going to fold that in. Also, I chopped up some of the oregano and parsley. The basil we're going to put in the sauce last. And I want everything incorporated, but I don't want to overwork the meat. And it looks like that. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to spray my parchment paper, though you don't have to. Then I'm just going to spray just a little bit of some baking spray. This is about 1/3 of a cup. I'm going to form them into a ball. Just like that. Okay, so when you're done, it's going to look like this. And what we're going to do is, in order to brown them, we're going to spray them. You can use olive oil. This is canola oil spray. And we're going to put it in the oven. I have it on 350. I'm going to see how that does. For about, let's check it in 15 minutes. In the meantime, we can get ready to make the sauce. Just going to put a little oil in here. I still have my spaghetti water. It's still not ready. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take those onions that I didn't use. Those grated onions. And I have some mushrooms. Some diced red peppers from whatever I made last. I'm going to add some salt and pepper. Pepper, a little salt. Okay, this is almost done, so I'm going to add this little bit of garlic that's left. I'm going to let that cook for about 1 minute. This is how you add more flavor to a jarred sauce. We're going to pour in our sauce. turn this down. You can see that this sauce is a little chunky. I tasted the sauce and it is very good from the jar. So I'm just putting in some thyme, and I'm gonna put in some oregano leaves. And the basil I'm gonna put in last because basil doesn't need to cook very long. But this, when this is simmered with these herbs, it elevates the flavor. Now turn that down to low. I'm gonna add a teaspoon of sugar. It's not to make it sweet. The sugar is to help balance the flavors, especially for tomatoes, because of their acidity. It helps to balance the flavor, so you have a much softer taste. We're gonna take our spaghetti, and you can just cook yours according to the instructions on the box. I don't like to break my spaghetti. I do have a spaghetti pot. I don't even know why I didn't use it today. Okay, this is what our meatballs look like. It's hot, so I can't bring it. Oh, it's not that hot anymore. Looks like this. So what we're going to do is we're just going to pick them up and we're going to place them here. What I forgot to put in the meatballs was the cheese. I know. I thought about it after they were in the oven. So it was supposed to be a half a cup of some, you could use Romano, but I had Parmesan cheese that I was gonna put inside of the meatballs, but I forgot. So what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that we put plenty of the cheese on top. I'm also cooking some garlic bread to have with this. My spaghetti is done. It's draining, it's sitting here. And all we have to do now is just put this all together. And we're just gonna cook it just for a few minutes. Oh, it smells so good. And it looks delicious. I'm just tearing the basil. And here we have it. And you see, I put the cheese on top. It looks delicious. Any way you look at it. So that's going to be dinner for tonight. And with that, I also just bought the store-bought garlic bread. Yes, I could have made it, but not tonight. So that's our meal for today. I hope that you have enjoyed watching this video. I hope you just learned a little something. And if you like this video, please, why don't you go ahead and give me a thumbs up. If you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, it's so simple. Just go ahead and press that subscribe button. Until next Friday for our next episode, I am logging off. Again, this is Beverly Lucas, and you have been watching For the Love of Cooking Fridays. Bye-bye.